Fellas, have you ever wanted to get trampled to death by wild animals? Do battle against midget pirate
So this is the
necromancers,
other video
accidentally travel to another dimension, go
game.
insane, and die, all within the span of 2 hours? Well,
Huh?
if so, you've got two options. One of them involves swallowing 60 milligrams of DMT, and the other is playing Conquest of Elysium 5, because all of that is exactly the average Conquest of Elysium experience. This is
That's
a
what I'm
game
starting
where you
to
don't
get from
question
the last
why
few
there's a
videos I've
chicken
seen.
man with. Instead, we'll be playing as the new faction, the Guildmaster. This seemingly
Oh, the
innocuous man
Guildmaster.
travels the world establishing a variety of
You did speak of how OP the Guildmaster would be in the hands of an intelligent player.
the Voice of El. This is a faction of religious
Oh,
extremists
yep.
led by the Archbishop,
I saw this
whose
video.
life...
Alright, time to go to the video that I originally intended on reacting to, and then we can just see where we go from there. I want to look at Reggie. Reggie is my goat.
Conquest of Elysium 5 is a highly detailed turn-based strategy game developed for and primarily enjoyed by masochistic autists. In fact, I would call it predatory and immoral.
I remember this game. I saw the other video that Reggie did on this game.
It wasn't so good. The objective of the game is to survive in the world's largest open-air prison by killing all of the other inmates. Whether you want to accomplish this by bashing their head in with a club, digesting them in a cube of acid, or teleporting them to a Gartha doesn't really matter. Just get it done so you can escape the eternal hell that is Elysium. For today's video, we will be playing as the Voice of El, a faction of religious extremists that use biblically accurate angels to incinerate the non-believers. Against us is a troll king, witch, barbarian, illusionist, another Voice of El, and the Guildmaster from our last video. If we can kill each of these godless sodomites, we win.
To look at later.
Before we go any further, I need to tell you something. 6 years ago, my wife died in a tragic art installation catastrophe. She was trying to hang a piece of modern art, but she accidentally hammered into a high-voltage transformer and exploded. Ever since that day, I've gone to war with the art community, and I never thought I could trust myself to hang a painting ever again, until I met the sponsor of today's video, Displate.
Aha! I knew it!
A stunning range of over 2 million high-quality designs printed directly onto metal canvases. This is all unique licensed art from major brands such as Elden Ring, Warhammer, and Marvel. But if you prefer, they also offer custom designs to allow you to indulge in your most personal interest. Displate is the non-destructive installation process. No power tools required, no holes in the wall, just clean the surface, apply the Displate sticker, apply the magnet, and then hang that bad boy up. Congratulations, you are now a member of high society. The fact this is so easy allows me to hang my displates almost anywhere. Displate on the wall, displate on a displate, displate in a pile of leaves, and of course, displate in the tub. Now that I can enjoy refined artwork, I have become a more cultured man, and my brain has tripled in size. Doctors are calling it unprecedented and terminal. I'm not sure, but I think that means good. So don't delay. Try Displate today, and for the holidays, if you use code Reggie, you can get between 33 and 40% off, depending on the number of displates you purchase. Thank you, Displate. Now back to the video. After setting up the lobby, we select Voice of El and mentally prepare to kill thousands of people. For this purpose, it is important to give ourselves a very silly name, because then no one will take us seriously.
So what is it going to be?
Adolf Hitler committing a religious genocide is not remembered fondly, but Biggest Dickus doing the exact same thing, well, that's just a little horseplay. Now that we have preemptively recontextualized our war crimes, we can begin the game. Loading in, we can see that we've started in a tundra biome, which is already a sufficient reason to kill ourselves, but we push onward. Right now, it's just Biggest Dickus, Esclavaz the Bishop, and a handful of soldiers. However, as we spread our religion, God will bestow us increasingly powerful units for our holy crusade. So we spend the first few turns conquering nearby villages and forcibly converting their inhabitants.
Oh god. Oh no, we're gonna indoctrinate. We're going to forcibly indoctrinate people.
Provide us with an annual tithe of gold from every religious settlement on the map. Many of the classes in Conquest of Elysium are morally ambiguous, but the fact we can create a religious IRS is irrefutable evidence that we are agents of chaos. Personally, I'm fine with that. What I'm not fine with is splitting the money, because the tithe is divided between each Voice of El depending on their rank within the clergy. And currently, the other Voice of El player is a cardinal, which means he's getting most of the money. Absolute absolutely unacceptable. He must
Yeah,
be
no.
killed. But that has to go on the back
that is-
burner for now,
oh.
because we've just
I was
encountered
about to say that makes him priority 1 on the list of people to kill or world leaders to kill.
our neighbor to the southeast, the Barbarian. This faction uses savage brutality and shamanic rituals to crush their enemies. So I make sure to avoid them entirely and then steal all of their territory when they're not looking. This tactic actually worked pretty well, and as our theological influence grew, several people came to join our cause. Religious flagellants began appearing in nearby towns. A paladin and his retinue of Templar joined our army, and finally a pilgrim set out to travel the Holy Land. I'm sorry to report he was immediately killed by a group of marauding barbarians. The paladin was ripped apart by birds of prey, and shortly after that,
Oh my
the
God, why are they so
flagellants
big?
were slaughtered by a giant octopus. Having
Why
our
so
followers
big?
viciously killed in comically painful ways might seem
Comically
like bad
painful.
publicity, but actually it's highly relatable, because everyone unfortunate enough to live in Elysium is currently going through the exact same thing. Now, in order to defeat our barbarian friends, we're going to need one thing: lots of money. Money can do amazing things. Simply
I'm
go
sure.
to any live streaming website and you'll see just how powerful $50 can be. But don't worry, I'm not planning on paying the barbarian to put his ankles behind his head. Instead, we have some.
Why do you want to stretch? Do you want another man to put your legs behind your head?
Something else in mind. But first, we have to secure some cash. So I began expanding to the west, seizing several villages and gold mines. This was also where we encountered the witch. Her faction uses powerful swamp magic to kill you in the most disgusting ways possible. So again, we avoid her. After several turns of saving up, we've now got a nice chunk of gold, and we use it to promote Biggest Dickus from Archbishop to Cardinal. This does a few things for us. First, it gives us a bigger share of the tithe. Second, we get higher level holy magic. And third, it now gives us the authority to call religious crusades and holy inquisitions.
Start the crusade!
So obviously, we drop some gold to start a crusade against the barbarians.
Yes!
We summoned a pretty sizable AI-controlled crusade.
I was about to say, yo, the crusade is about to begin. Who is within crusading distance?
Crusader army to hunt down the barbarian apostates, but unfortunately it spawned on the other side of the map and drove headfirst into a witch's tower that was surrounded by poison mist. This resulted in approximately 70% casualties almost immediately. Meanwhile, back home, the barbarians continue to decimate our local population. Truly, God is testing us. Our only saving grace is that the brain-dead Crusader AI that just wasted all of our gold is the exact same AI controlling all of our enemies, which means we shouldn't act surprised when the barbarians run their only commander headfirst into a bunch of ogres and die. The loss of this commander resulted in their entire faction being eliminated, which gives us some much-needed breathing room. Taking a peek at the score graph, we can see that
they just clapped themselves, basically.
We're kind of in the middle of the road. Not quite trash, but not very good either. At least we can take some solace in the fact we're not the Troll King, who appears to have been killed by wild animals somewhere around turn 7. However, if we don't...
They're just getting themselves killed, dog!
You bet your sweet Bippy I did!
Want to be the next to go, we're going to have to take some drastic measures, which leads us to the 7 apocalyptic seals. As a voice of L, we are capable of using religious relics to break these seals one at a time. The more we break, the more powerful units our god will bestow upon us.
Ooh, these are like the gates. Chakra gates.
But each broken seal also brings us closer to an absolutely devastating global apocalypse.
Oh, so that's where the apocalypse shows up, okay.
It's a bit of a balancing act, but desperate times call for desperate measures.
Are we sure about
Voice
that?
of L already broke the first seal, so I went ahead and cracked the second. In return, angels are now descending from the heavens to join our cause. This should make us a little more competitive against the other factions. Speaking of the other factions, we've just encountered the Guildmaster. This class is incredibly broken, but only when used intelligently. As we've established, that is not something we're going to...
Not for me, then. I'm not exactly the strategist type.
...have to worry about here. In fact, giving this class to the AI is comparable to giving a Corvette to a chimpanzee. Sure, they might figure out how to turn it on, but almost invariably, they will drive it into a brick wall and die. Given these cognitive deficits, I thought the Guildmaster would be the perfect target for a religious inquisition. Inquisition. So I summoned one in and it got to work. The Inquisition is probably our best tool because they go around the map autonomously killing non-believers.
They're never gonna see the Inquisition coming.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
And converting settlements for free. Puzzlingly, their first target was a giant acid snake. And when he refused to convert to our vaguely defined religion, they lit him on fire and stabbed him to death with lances. I think it's fair to say he lost that debate.
Pretty effective.
The Inquisition traveled to the far west and actually tracked down the Guildmaster himself. After witnessing us cavalry charge his entire front line and slaughter them mercilessly, the Guildmaster suddenly realized the validity of our religion, and he changed sides mid-battle. Following this, the Inquisition sieged down his capital city, and not long after, his entire faction went extinct.
They could do that? They could just convert mid-battle? It's just like, oh, wait a minute. Okay, you got it. Okay, jeez. Oh, great. I'm with y'all.
Now down to the final four. Us, the other voice of El, the Illusionist, and the Witch. I'll be honest, the Illusionist has done nothing the entire game, but the other two are very dangerous. In fact, the Witch just massacred one of our Crusader armies with a horde of giant snails, carnivorous frogs, and cubes of beef bouillon. This is a dark day in Constantinople. Beyond that, I'm starting to realize that the other voice of El is a doomsday accelerationist, because he already broke 4 seals, and now the horsemen of the apocalypse are starting to appear and slaughter everyone indiscriminately. Our only logical move in this situation is to become the Pope. By donating 600 gold to the church, Biggest Dickus is able to assume the position of pontiff. There can only ever be one pontiff, and whoever is the pontiff collects all of the religious tax money from the entire map. This means that every few turns we're going to rake in around 500 gold, which should give us an edge. However, it also puts a target on our back, because if the other voice of El can assassinate Pope Dickus, then they can steal the position of pontiff away from us, which means it's time to go into hiding. We need to get the Pope back to the capital and surrounded by bodyguards. However, on our second day of being Pope, we were attacked by the very atmosphere itself, resulting in almost everyone being electrocuted to death.
Excuse me?
Get the Pope back to the capital, which is relatively safe, but also kind of the first place you'd check if you were trying to assassinate him. So I took an army south and captured the port of Crabville. From here, we purchased some boats and began looking for secluded islands where we could hide out. Scouring the northern seas, we came across a coral fortress inhabited by fishmen. This could be a promising safe house, so I sent a few armies to capture it, but my generals kept falling overboard and drowning.
Why?
So a few tries. After seizing it, I realized that it's actually a portal to the elemental plane. Obviously, I wanted to explore that, but it wouldn't let me take our boats, so I had to leave them behind before going through. At which point, surprise, we've been teleported to the middle of the ocean. Everyone is drowning, and whoever is not drowning is being killed by buff, hunky seamen. Thank you, Conquest of Elysium. I hated that.
Yes. It's very important to elaborate on the hunkiness of them.
Back to the drawing board. Not long after that fiasco, we actually came across a string of promising islands in the south. In fact, this is a game changer, because this island has the entire Capoleum on it. The Capoleum is a 4-tile mega city which is loaded with resources. It's easy to defend and very secluded. Simply put, we're going to need this. I landed an expeditionary force on the island and began re-educating the native population of pygmy tribesmen. Today's lesson:
oh god, it's the pygmies.
The fucking ground. Once that was taken care of, I assessed the Capoleum armies. They're pretty tough, so we're going to have to wait here until reinforcements arrive. I decided to pass the turns next to the Colossus of Rhodes, because I thought it was kind of cool, until it came to life and crushed 90% of our army. Every single turn, Conquest
It could just casually come to life? Bruh, that's kind of terrifying.
of Elysium finds new and exciting ways to flatten our balls like a pancake. And much like a heroin addict, I can't get enough of it. Because while I am upset that one of our armies died, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't soy-facing the entire time. While all of that was going on, the witch was rampaging around the center of the map with her army of perverted swamp monsters. The other voice of hell summoned the horsemen of pestilence and the horsemen of war, and the illusionist was collecting mirrors. Bit of an underwhelming faction, I won't lie. Fortunately, on our end, we've
It might be underwhelming, but that just kind of makes me curious. What is the illusionist up to?
Started receiving celestial lions, which are ravaging the non-believers. This put us in a three-way tie with the witch and the other voice of El, but hopefully capturing the Capoleum can put us on top. Arriving there with a new army of crusaders led by Pope Dickus, we launch our first attack. Our front line of Templar have high armor, which makes them almost invulnerable to projectiles, but the rest of us are not so lucky.
Ouch.
Quickly charging down the gates, we begin slaughtering the defenders while the Emperor does his best to aura farm from the ramparts.
Oh god, he's aura farming. Put him down.
Fires catastrophically when biggest Dickus casts Heavenly Wrath and smites him for 500 damage. Following his death, we won the battle and repossessed his collection of zany magic items. Now we can focus on conquering the other districts. The Slave District was predictably easy. Trade District, not too bad either. But the Temple District, that one sucks, because its garrison is commanded by a cardinal who appears to be high on speed. This guy is specialized in conversion magic, meaning that mid-battle he can cause 10 to 20 of our soldiers to change teams every turn.
What?
So to avoid receiving the cardinal's gay conversion therapy, we recruited 2 catapults before attacking. These proceeded to smoke him in the face with boulders, and he died en route to the hospital.
Wow.
Good riddance. With that, we have now conquered the entirety of the Capoleum, and our economy is at an all-time high. Also, in unrelated news, Pompelus the Illusionist was found dead in a Papa John's bathroom. That leaves just us.
What did he accomplish? Ow! Oh god, I hit my knee on the table.
Dead in a Papa John's bathroom. That leaves just us, the witch, and the other voice of El. Let's take a look at the score graph and see how we're doing. Oh. We're fucked.
Oh.
While we were busy dying to statues, Pink appears to have been conquering the entire map. And furthermore, our god seems to be favoring him, because for the past 25 turns, we have been re-gifted the same 2 celestial lions over and over, while Pink is receiving angelic warriors, archangels, and whatever the hell this is. In the theological
biblically
chess battle
accurate.
between our 2 factions, we're losing so badly that our opponent just got up from the table and he's now banging our wife. But in any game of chess, the loser always has one option: flip the table and eat the pieces, which is exactly
Why eat
what
the
we're
pieces?
going to do. You see, Pink has broken 6 of the 7 holy seals, and he thinks we won't break the last one because it will start the apocalypse. But here's an important lesson, you greedy bastard. Mutually assured destruction only works if I have something to lose, and as a matter of fact, you've taken most of my territory. So good luck everyone else. I open the ceremony screen and break that 7th seal without hesitation.
Oh boy.
The apocalypse has begun. Forest fires have started all over the map, and a portal to hell has opened in the desert, spewing forth hundreds of diseased demons, scorpions, and giant grasshoppers with human faces. At the same time, a portal to heaven has appeared, and several angelic armies are rushing into Elysium. Initially, I looked at this and thought, oh good, they're here to kill the demons and take us to the promised
Oh no, they're here to
land. Clearly,
purge.
I forgot which game we were playing, because this is less of a battle between good and evil, and more of a spit roast with us in the middle. On top of all of that, at the center of the map, there's a portal to the underworld, where all dead units live as spirits. It was never relevant up to this point, because it was guarded by a giant hell dog. But now that the angels killed him, hundreds of ghosts are coming through the portal and attacking
Oh god,
us.
it's DJ Khaled.
The fish people from earlier have come through their portal, and they're invading us in the north. In conclusion, 4 different dimensions are collaborating to gangbang us out of existence. I know that sounds bad, because it is.
It is. I was
But
about to say.
relatively speaking, it's way worse for Pink, since he actually has an empire to lose. Us, on the other hand, we're just hiding out on a secluded island, waiting for everyone to die. Speaking of which, there goes the witch. Just one more faction to eliminate, and then we win. Evidently, Pink was not enthused about our decision to...
Pure spite. Yeah, no. To be fair, I probably would be doing the same thing, to be honest. If I am losing so bad, I would be the sore loser and just be like, hey, yo, I already lost pretty much everything. You have so much more to lose than I do. I could die now and I would be happy knowing that you are probably going to suffer Worse than I am.
end the world via interdimensional group sex. And he actually sent
Lord.
Sophiel the Archangel to the Capoleum to kill Pope Dicus. In terms of assassination attempts, I found this rather wanting. Sophiel barely even tried, and eventually he was kicked in the head by a horse and died.
Damn.
But as it turns out, that was all part of his plan, because he was carrying cursed items, and now that we killed him, they've been transferred to Pope Dicus. One in particular is an issue: the balances of famine. These give the plague to whoever is holding them, and since they're cursed, we can't drop them, meaning Pope Dicus's days are numbered. This is some CIA-level assassination technique that I hadn't even considered until now. Fortunately, the plague takes a while to kill us, so we can retreat to the capital and start building a doom stack while waiting for everyone else to perish in the apocalypse. Fast forward 20 turns, things are getting worse.
20
If our metric
turns?
for success is pink dying, then we're making progress. But if our metric for success is anything else, we're fucked. Global warming has turned the entire map into a permanent desert, the quality and quantity of demons has tripled, and Abdon,
God.
the Lord of Hell, has begun permanently destroying every settlement in Elysium, meaning our tithe money has started drying up. On the upside, we found a method to keep the Pope alive. He's currently dying from leprosy, but by recruiting half a dozen bishops and spamming healing spells, we're able to heal him faster than his disease can kill him. Don't get me wrong, his flesh is still rotting from the bone, but with this method, he's able to cling to life as some kind of living corpse. Now look, I'm going to be honest, the prognosis for Elysium is not good. Every turn, there's less resources, more demons, and our public approval is questionable at best. So I think it's
Legalized
about time we
gay
leave.
sex.
Currently, we've got 4 options. We could travel to heaven, hell, the underworld, or the elemental plane. The underworld gradually kills you and causes you to go insane, basically syphilis. And
Right,
the elemental
okay.
plane is just a virtual form of waterboarding. So those two are off the table. You're probably thinking heaven is a good option, but I checked. It's full of angels that will try to kill you and a strangely high population of pickpockets. That leaves us one final option. Fellas, we're all going to hell. The portal to hell opened in a desert to the west, so it's time to prepare one final crusade as we stake everything on this daring relocation. I assembled Pope Dicus and his army of Templar, ferried them onto the mainland via boat, and we began carving our way through what's left of Pink's empire. He did try to stop us, but our army was pretty fresh, whereas his spent the last 30 turns getting diabolically molested. So we won
Yeah,
pretty
that
easily.
doesn't look-
For the first time in over 150 turns, we are now slightly above Pink on
Slightly.
the score graph. I can feel myself ascending. The crusade continues, conquering several cities and desert palaces. At this point, every single tile is occupied by demons, so every move we make is the result of an in-depth calculation regarding whether it's preferable to be stung to death by scorpions or receive every known STD from a gang of bug chasers. Eventually, we made it to the portal with about 200 units.
How
I have
is it?
no idea what's on the other side of this, but it can't be any worse than the implacable psychic torture that awaits us.
Jesus! The map is covered with demons and other stuff.
In Elysium, we enter the portal and are immediately transported to hell. At first glance, a lot snowier than I expected, but other than that, everything looks right. Plenty of demons, devils, and some fallen angels. That's
Right.
not great, but what is great is the villages. Each one provides us tons of resources. In fact, after some exploring, it's pretty obvious that the economy of hell is at least twice the size of the economy in Elysium.
Oh,
Meaning,
dear
if we can
Lord.
conquer this, Pink simply won't have the resources to resist us, and we can finally win the game. Now, I know you're thinking, Reggie, you have an army of painfully average soldiers and an AIDS patient for a commander. You stand no chance against the Lords of Hell. And normally I would agree, but they actually have medication for that now, and also, the final feature of this class is the blessing system. All of our holy units have the blessed status, which gives them bonus stats, but by performing rituals to God, we can increase the amount of stats provided. How many times can we do this, you may ask? You can do it
Infinitely.
Which
Yep.
means we can turn our weakest unit into a 40 health Giga Chad with Fire Shield, Magic Resistance, Awe, and a 13-inch monster, at which point nothing will stand in our way. By religion maxing our followers, we were able to capture the majority of Hell. The only thing remaining are the 3 infernal citadels, the Tower of Injustice, the City of Sinners, and the Citadel of Geryon. We need these desperately because capturing them will give us recruitment centers for new units. But if we want to stand any chance in a late-game siege, we're gonna need more catapults. Back in Elysium, we started building a supplementary force with exactly that. This took forever because despite our recent conquests, we're still in some kind of economic ketosis, where we can barely afford food, let alone complex siege equipment. On the upside, at least we're not pink. I'm pretty sure his entire economy is being sustained by that single tile of coral reef. Anyway, we take the reinforcements through the desert and link up with the Pope. We're now ready to finish our conquest of Hell, until something terrible happens. Our beloved Pope Dickus, the man who led a crusade straight into the jaws of Hell, has suddenly succumbed to his disease. Rest easy, my king. Sensing our weakness, Abdon, the Lord of Hell, took this opportunity to attack us in the open. I'm not going to lie, I kind of assumed we were going to get steamrolled here, so I just put it on triple speed and waited for the sweet embrace of death. But suddenly, a miracle happened. We actually started winning. It turns out one of our wizards knows geomancy, which is actually very effective against Abdon. By spamming Earth Meld, they're able to keep him incapacitated. This causes every attack against him to deal bonus damage even if the attack misses. So despite our army being mostly trash, the bonus damage is slowly whittling him down, until finally a random unnamed crossbowman kills one of the strongest units in existence.
No shot.
Abdon would actually respawn in Hell due to his planar immortality, but since we killed him in Hell, he's gone for good. After receiving another batch of
What? Damn, I sucked a little too hard.
What did he say?
That just happens? You could do that?
Abdon would actually respawn in Hell due to his planar immortality, but since we killed him in Hell, he's gone for good. After receiving another batch of reinforcements, our invasion is back on track, and we march for the Tower of Injustice. Loading into the battle, this might look easy, but each of these demons are fairly
do it for biggest dickus,
which is why we brought spellcasters of our own, in the form of 9 catapults. Magic specializations include blunt force trauma and closed casket funerals. Using this, we managed to take out the enemy commander before the battle even started, at which point we stormed the gates and captured the tower at the cost of about 75% of our units. 1 down, 2 to go. We were off to a good start, but before I could celebrate, the forces of Hell conspired to ruin my life. This doom stack of fallen angels moved into the portal linking Elysium to Hell, and now they're blocking it, which means we no longer have access to outside reinforcements. No more Templar, no bishops, and worst of all, no catapults. Furthermore, efforts to dislodge this blockade have been met with very limited success. On the upside, now that we have a citadel, we can recruit units directly in Hell, but the selection is limited and they're very expensive, so it's time to get creative. First, I took Murgles the Bishop and promoted him to Murgles the Pope. Then I took him around every settlement in Hell to convert them to our religion. Now that they're in theological alignment with us, they're spawning in around—
Imagine going into Hell and spreading your religion, indoctrinating the denizens of Hell.
30 flagellants every few turns, which are going straight into our army. Furthermore, the citizens of Hell are diligent taxpayers, and we're raking in the money. This is terrific, but we need even more. After converting every settlement in this section of Hell, I gave Pope Murgles the Trident of the Sea, and then sent him on a solo mission to swim across the ocean and into a river of lava, eventually making it to the other side of Hell, at which point he starts converting people there too. Personally, I'm not very religious.
The crusade never ends.
Man swam through a lake of fire just to tell me about his erotic doomsday space opera ideology.
I was about to say,
I'd give him a chance.
The crusade never ends, not even for lava.
Unfortunately, the denizens of Hell felt the same way, resulting in us grabbing about a half dozen more towns. Now that the tithe money is flowing, we can can finally afford some units at the Citadel of Injustice. This brings us to phase 2 of recruitment. They say, when in Rome, do as the Romans, and when in hell, cook people alive in a giant oven. You see, the forces of hell are quite finite, and the only way they can replenish their ranks is by capturing humans and turning them into demons by baking them alive in a giant oven.
So pretty much
this is not
pretty much just sacrificing then. Just sacrifice for the replenishment of your demonic assistants.
hyperbole. In fact, I decided to try it myself, so I picked up a batch of sinners, took them to the nearest oven, set it to broil, and stuffed them inside. To my surprise, it actually worked. We've now got ourselves a supply of mid-level demons. Between the free flagellants and cheap demons, the army is shaping up nicely for the next siege. The final
This seems kind of contradictory, right? Like, we're supposed to be like super religious, and yet we have demons in our ranks. What is this, Devil May Cry?
missing ingredient is the Bloodsworn. These are heavy infantry which have the regeneration ability that allows them to heal mid-battle. Very strong on its own. But when we combine this with Pope Murgle's ability to bless the entire army with free stats, the Bloodsworn become incredibly overpowered. So after spending 30 turns recruiting, I assemble all of our commanders outside the next target. Our combined forces total 550, with over 300 flagellants and 180 Bloodsworn infantry. It's now time to attack the Citadel of Sin. The battle begins with an opening volley from the catapults, followed by the charge of the flagellants, where 300 psychotic men with whips and chains rush the walls, tear down the gates, and start ripping apart the demons one by one. Unfortunately, our enemies have very strong magic, and we lose about 20 flagellants for every one demon we kill. I know that sounds bad, but religion demands sacrifice.
Of course.
You can either do it here on the battlefield, or you can do it over there in the oven. I know which one I'd pick. Once our Bloodsworn made it to the front, we were able to gradually whittle down the defenders until there was nothing left. Discord HQ has been secured. Now it's on to the Citadel of Geryon to complete the trifecta of evil. While this castle doesn't have a huge garrison, it does have 227 health Geryon the Monster of Fraud. According to a Wikipedia page edited by reliable sources, Geryon was a fearsome giant with either one body and 3 heads, or more unsettlingly, 1 head and 3 bodies. This makes more sense when you analyze his family tree and realize that at some point someone had sex with a horse.
I want to fuck a horse.
Oh no, it's fucking Vosh!
Worry about that. Instead, we have to worry about his level 3 command magic, because this Geryon is a master of manipulation. We go ahead and attack the Citadel. He starts the battle by
gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss. Okay, I see how it
is a master of manipulation. We go ahead and attack his Citadel. He starts the battle by casting mass confusion, and despite our magic resistance, this affects 70% of our army. When confused, units typically wander around aimlessly and sometimes beat themselves to death. A very compelling opening move. The battle proceeds with Geryon using sleep, confusion, and charm spells to delay us, while his ice devils cast map-wide blizzards to chunk our entire army. Thankfully, our Bloodsworn are regenerating, but everyone else, not so much. Once we make it to the gates, I realize they're actually electrified, and about 200 people die in the process of breaking them. At this point, I was pretty sure we were going to lose, until our old wizard had some kind of flashback to Iwo Jima, because for the next 20 turns, he became a human flamethrower. What? Close the gap, and after 30 rounds of combat, one of our soldiers stabbed Geryon in the head for 40 damage, killing him on the spot. Well, there it is. This all started with Satan performing a home invasion on us in Elysium. But like a deranged sociopath, we hid under the floorboards, stalked him until we found his house, and then performed a counter home invasion. Now, after killing all of his friends, we're sitting on his couch watching TV, and it feels good. But one final problem remains. The last remaining player, Pink.
He's still around?
How he even survived this long in the first place? And the answer is the same way we did. While we held out on Capoleum Island, Pink weathered the storm to the east on Crab Island. This was possible because his settlements continually spawned angelic creatures to defend him. All of these units have flying, which means in theory they could easily leave the island, wander into a bunch of scorpions, and die. But they also have leadership, which means they like to add random units they find into their army, and once they add flagellants in, the army can no longer fly, meaning it's permanently stuck on the island. So the only thing left for it to do is spend 300 turns wandering around, collecting more units and killing things. This phenomena resulted in both us and Pink accumulating absolutely massive doom stacks that have defended our islands for the past 500 turns. Now that we've rebuilt our economy in hell, it's time to go to Crab Island, crush Pink's last army, and finish this once and for all. We begin recruitment of an invasion force immediately, and after securing a navy, we set sail for Crab Island.
Set sail!
Until we got ambushed by a disease devil who used decay to decompose our boats and drown half the army in about 7 seconds. Absolutely devastating. After receiving reinforcements from the capital, we landed on Crab Island with a force of 400 of the finest hobos and bums I could afford to hire.
Truly an army of all time.
Most of these units aren't holy, but thanks to the Bless Army ability, we can effectively baptize 400 people at once, giving them a massive stat boost. Now that we're here, there's just 2 targets, the guard tower in the south and the city to the north. We start with the tower since it's less defended, and waste no time slaughtering the 200 defenders. The only hiccup was the fact they had a paladin with level 3 magic, which he used to make himself invulnerable to all physical damage. This resulted in him almost killing our entire army before one of the wizards came up and smoked him in the face with a fireball. That, in a nutshell, is why this apocalypse happened in the first place. Pink got paladins with level 3 magic, and we got paladins with level 3 brain damage. The injustice was simply too much. After grabbing some more soldiers, we head out to take Pink's final city, but he intercepts us in transit with an absolutely massive army of celestial lions and flagellants. The final battle for religious supremacy begins now. A rampage of 30 lions barrels down on our front line. We are but wheat before the scythe, and they cut us down. However, that's part of the plan, because all of our units are blessed with level 2 fire shields, which returns damage to their attackers. So by jamming hundreds of men into the meat grinder that is Pink's army, we gradually managed to break it. Now it's up to our backline of casters to clear out the hundreds of battle of attrition at that point, rushing toward us. Thanks to the generous application of level 3 pyromancy, we managed to accomplish this task, barely eking out a victory against the odds. After clearing out his final city to the north, we check the score graphs. Pink is no longer a thriving empire, but rather a corpse pretending to breathe. And after kicking him a few more times, he does the honorable thing and gives up. Now finally, after surviving the apocalypse, conquering hell, and achieving religious supremacy, we have won the game. Yay! As we scroll out and marvel at the truly disgusting state of Elysium, I am reminded that our kingdom is not of this world. It's hell. We live in hell, and I like it that way. For what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul in the process? That is the fate we have saved Pink from by killing him, which in the end makes us not only winners, but also morally superior. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Yay! Very good. Wow. That felt like I was watching a damn movie. Like, dead ass. Ah, that was great.